So I came across this book today. It's called The Gift, 12 Lessons to Save Your Life by a former Auschwitz survivor. And in it, one of the lessons, I think it's number 7, is don't be a prisoner to rigidity. And this applies so much to me because I try to, once I get something that works, I try to just keep doing the exact same thing over and over again. And I talked about this in another video on my channel called like my autism or something, but example of this is like planning out your day. Like, it will happen, like, it's effective, it helps a lot, but what sometimes happens is like you're so rigid in it that first off you block out new experiences and some of the joys that life has and opportunities that it has to offer. And then the second thing is like you kind of piss a lot of people off because stuff will happen and you'll be like, nah, I can't do that right now, like have to work on this, and you just keep pushing that. Give me a second. And you just keep pushing that, and what was the thing? I was talking about how sometimes like things happen in life you can't really plan for, and having the rigid mindset cuts you out from living certain experiences, from experiencing new things, from taking opportunities when they present themselves to you, because you get so caught up in this idea of like, I have to do this, then, and that's how I optimize my day. Like, I need to optimize my day, and you lose sight of some of the joys life has, some of the things and opportunities that come up. And by being more flexible with your schedule, by leaving time in for those things, by finding a way to balance the flexibility with the rigidity. And for me, I set time blocks that, not really time blocks, but it's more of what's talked about in The One Thing, where he mentions focus on like what's the biggest, most impactful thing you could get done today, and then no matter what else happens during that day, you get that thing done. And this sometimes has led to me like staying up really late, getting that thing done, but I always end the day on a win. I always end the day having successfully completed the most important thing I wanted to get done. And it allows for more of a fluid approach. And I think it's Bruce Lee talked about how like being fluid like water is very beneficial, not only in fighting but also in life. And once, I feel like you have to go through the rigidity aspect of it along the cycle of growth in order to then move past that to a more advanced stage where the rules don't necessarily apply. Yeah, this is talked about mastery, where you go through an apprenticeship where you apply the rules exactly as they were told to you. You do that for long enough, and then after you get good enough at that and are able to do it successfully, you can then start bending the rules, and that's when you become a master of it. And I think a lot of people get stuck at this apprenticeship stage in life where like, this works, I have to keep doing it. It's like, no, there's a step above this where like you can transcend it and not have to be so rigid, where you can live more fully, create more beautifully, and kind of like go with life instead of trying to fight against it with all these rules that you have. And you see this played out actually a lot in terms of like wrestling, where you start off learning the basics and then you learn how to chain everything together, and then you hit more fluid things that really aren't moves. Like, some people be like, hey man, what is that? I'm like, I don't know, man, I kind of just like did this, and then they went on their back. And you get a feel for it, and you hit things, and there's not really a name for them. It's just what you do at that point in time. This is also another good example of how like learning a sport, mastering one thing can help you master a lot more, because you see these cross patterns in it. And by extrapolating, like, if this is a principle that applies in wrestling, does this also apply in life? Or is this a principle that applies in business? Does it also apply in life? Like, you can kind of push them together and take away these bigger pictures. And there's some lifting dude on Instagram, but he was talking about how he learned all the lessons in his life from being in the gym bodybuilding. Makes you question sometimes why you read so many books, but Yeah, just don't be a prisoner to your mind. Try mixing it up, if not only to set periods of time when you do mix it up. And I find great success in it because you quickly learn, and you're going to fail a couple times at first when you mix it up, but you quickly learn what is essential and what isn't essential. And especially a great way of doing this is traveling. I talk about this a lot. Changing your environment to change your mind, because if you stay in the same environment, the same items in that environment are going to cause the same thoughts, which cause the same outcome, which first developed that environment. It's a loop. Traveling, absolutely amazing. It allows you to reflect upon yourself and see your patterns in a new light, because you have to be more aware, you have to be more conscious. You're not necessarily sure where everything is, and you haven't been there before, so your body's like less on autopilot, and it allows you to examine yourself. Just going camping, getting away from environments you normally frequent is, I talk about it a lot. That's because it's really, really good. And a lot of people don't do it. They stay at home watching Netflix on the weekends instead of going out and having fun, going new places. Yes, sure, some of them suck, but those are just fun stories that you can tell people later on. And most of them are great. And eventually you'll learn how to make the ones that suck great and not have a bad time. It's like something I learned as a kid. Like, whenever you're hanging out with people, like, you can't make that person have a good time, but if you're acting like you're having a good time, then they're probably gonna have a better time, because misery loves company, and if you're acting miserable, you're gonna bring them down with you. So this was like a big thing when I was like learning about getting friends and stuff, which is just like, when you hang out with them, always have a smile on your face, because it'll make them have a good time, and because they're having a good time, you'll start to have a good time. And it's kind of like that thing with manifestation, where like you have to put yourself there to be there. You have to make yourself happy in order to set the course. You have to make yourself feel happy and look happy, or at least you're changing your physical state in the way you physically look, and eventually your mental mindset will switch. And I'm not 100% sure on this, but I've heard people talk about how, like, just consciously smiling more, or having a smile on your face, does actually increase your dopamine, because your physical body, like your mind and your body, is connected. So you're smiling and triggering some type of chemical reaction take place, where it actually winds up making your brain happier. I mean, just crazy things you learn along the way. Anyways, peace.